If you want to grow your YouTube channel, you must take appropriate action every day. In this video right here, I had an amazing conversation with Evan Carmichael, and he shared with me some amazing strategies that will help you grow your YouTube channel. Enjoy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I like that book collection behind you.
Yeah, it's an awesome book collection, especially those two right there.
Look at that.
Yeah, how's everything going today?
Good, man. So is this your office, your home office?
It's my home office, yes.
I love it. So for Believe Nation watching in, tell them a little bit about Terry Wade Thompson.
Yeah, so my name's Terry Wade Thompson. I'm an entrepreneur, author. I mean, lots of different things. So I work on a lot of different websites. I build websites. I do marketing and advertising for authors, and I create online courses. And now I'm starting to focus on doing YouTube videos and everything. So, when I come across you, that was great inspiration for me to take my YouTube game to the next level. And I can greatly attribute you and the things that I've learned from you to that increasing and getting better.
Anything I can help with on the YouTube side while you got me here?
Yeah, so just the biggest question that I got is just copyright and community strike. So I think that you source all the content within the description in order to avoid that, because that's the biggest question I have, is because I know you use a lot of content from other people. How do you avoid community strikes or copyright with that?
So putting it in the description does nothing to help you.
Okay.
There's two kinds. So if you're the way YouTube's copyright system works is they gave access to claiming at the very beginning to almost anybody. So that's people could, if you were using their content, they could claim against you. The problem is people started to abuse the system and started to say, well, Terry's using my content, even though you weren't.
Right.
And then you have to fight it. It was on you to say, no, there's nothing in here from Evan. And so they really restricted who got access to the claiming system to the big companies. So to like the Sony and the CNN and just the giant companies. So those guys, if you're ever taking a clip from a big giant media company, they're going to either block it or they're going to claim it. But they're not going to strike you. They can't strike you. Like CNN can't strike you. But they could block it or they could claim it.
Yeah, I've seen copyright, like, for example, when you use music, I've seen the copyrights, and that's not an issue. If ads get played over the video, they get the revenue. I fully understand it.
Music is the worst. Music is so hard. Music is so hard. So why we moved, like I had a weekly music series on my channel. We moved it off to another channel, and we do it once a month because music is the worst. If you're doing music, I would just go, we use audio blocks for the music behind our channel, and then you get I forget what the fee is. It's not that expensive, and then you have unlimited access to their
it's
music
not
library.
much. I've used audio blocks in the past.
Yeah, and they have B-roll for video clips and a bunch of stuff. So for background music, yeah, if you take like a Taylor Swift song or something, the claiming isn't so bad. It's just they could block it, and then your videos, even though you use an 8-second clip from Taylor Swift's song, they block your entire video. So that's where it gets super annoying. The smaller guys, they can't claim and they can't block, but they could strike you. So that's where you need to worry. So, and smaller, even going to like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone and those guys, they often have bigger channels than the big media companies.
Right.
But they don't have the ability to claim. They'll strike you. So that's where you need to worry, because you get 3 strikes and your channel's gonzo.
Right. And that's what I was concerned with, because I wanted to create some content basically in the style that you're doing, source the content, and then say, hey, here's my points that I want to make. Here's some of my thoughts, my opinions, but here's additional content that'll basically hammer the point home. And I was figuring as long as I source that additional content that's used, I should be good to go. But I appreciate you adding some additional thoughts to that, because that was always a big concern of mine.
Yeah, so the way with that, so even if it falls into fair use, right? Like if you took one of Grant Cardone's pieces, right? And then, use 45 seconds of his clip, and then you talk about it for 8 minutes. In most kind of legal scenarios, you could say this is fair use. I'm talking about him. It's only a 45-second clip, and I'm talking about it for 8 minutes. Doesn't matter. Like, you'd have to go to court. If Grant didn't like you or didn't like what you said, he could strike your channel.
Mm.
And the only, like, at that point, YouTube, you could fight the strike and say, hey, this isn't a strike, like this is fair use. And then
Right.
it goes back to Grant, and I'm using Grant as a hypothetical. You know, we worked with Grant for a number of years, but then it's on him to say, no, it's legit. And then
Right.
your only recourse is to go to court, and
Mm.
you would win. Like if you're doing 45 seconds versus 8-minute clip, you would win, but
Right.
you don't want to go to court. Like this is where a lot of the creators are getting stuck on fair use, because you
Right.
just don't want to fight fair use.
Right. Okay.
So the better way to do it is to then we form relationships with these guys, right? With Tony and Gary and Grant,
Right.
and
Yeah.
everything that I do is also showing the good side. So
Right.
you know, if you're gonna show, now Grant actually wouldn't care. Like if you took something that he said and then you roasted him for 5 minutes, he actually wouldn't care. You know, he's not going to strike you. But some other people have more fragile egos and
Right.
would not be happy with that. And then
Right.
it'd be on you to go and fight it. And it's just, is that the business that you want to be in? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm sure that if you bring a positive light to things and highlight the positive, or at least, you know, the great points that people make, I think that that's a better approach to that. And that's one of the things that I truly enjoy that you do, because I know that you save a lot of content for yourself. You know, you say, hey, this is really more for me, but if it's valuable to me, it's value to others. And that's kind of the approach that I wanted to take within some things that I'm doing as well, too. Because I do interviews as well, too. I interview authors, and a lot of times somebody has something that they want to say and say, hey, here's a great point. Here's from my knowledge. Here's from my experience. And I know that's exactly how you approach it within your videos as well, too. And I, for one, greatly appreciate that. I want to thank you personally for everything that you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Being positive definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always necessarily agree with the comment, with the post, but I'm not trying to make a slam piece. Like everything is always in a positive vein. Even if I disagree, it's like, here's my take on it, without trying to slam somebody, because I'm trying to spread more belief.
Right.
Right. Other people, you know, if they're attacking somebody, then you can expect a lot more issues. So I would tread lightly. I would try to make relationships.
Okay.
You know, if you've already done, you know, like I see Russell Brunson's book behind there. You know, if you've already done something on Russell or Seth doesn't have a YouTube channel, I don't think, but he's done a bunch of interviews. You know, Dean. What else? Who wrote Hustle? Who's that one?
Hustle, that's Neil Patel.
Oh, Neil.
I had to look. I was like, I forgot who that was by.
Neil's got a channel. Yeah, and so, you know, some of them, like Neil, I don't know as well as Dean and Russell and Tony and Grant and Gary and those guys, right? So as you start building into that world, like it could be great to have, if you have Neil on your show, then you say, hey, I'd like to also make some other content featuring you. Is that okay? A lot of times they'll do it because they just, especially good marketers, Neil's a smart marketer, right? He's going to want to make it happen. When I first connected with Grant to ask him about his channel, he said, yeah, man, do it. And I've also got a whole bunch of stuff that's never been released on my channel before. You want it? You want to release it? Or like, can I make something custom for you? You know, Grant's made some videos for my community. Gary has, you know, a bunch of people have. So the smart marketers get it, because they're not in the game of, you know, Grant doesn't care about the AdSense dollars that you're making off of his content. Grant wants to sell more books and sell more stadiums full of his, you know, events. And so you're actually helping him gain more exposure.
Yeah, it's a matter of what you focus on. I got into a good conversation about AdSense with somebody the other day, and they was talking about how their YouTube channel was not monetized. And I was like, well, in theory it is. If you have an AdSense account, you can create videos and then put them on a web page that basically has AdSense on the web page, and guess what? Your video is now monetized. So there's more than one way in which to monetize a channel. Even if a channel is not monetized, you can still monetize a web page with a video on it.
Yeah.
Just draw traffic to the page.
So, you know, just finding those connections in the people. So I have, you know, I'm known inside a certain community, the entrepreneur thought leadership community. You go outside that and I'm not super known in, you know, the beauty industry or home improvement or, you know, basically any other industry.
Yeah.
But as you start building up your brand, if that's part of what you want to do, then you use the relationships you have. Like if you took something that I said and put that on your channel and then reacted to it, I'm cool with that. And then you can use that to go after Neil Patel and Dean Graziosi and Russell Brunson,
Okay.
right?
Awesome.
Because they would know who I am. And like Evan said yes to this, are you cool with this? And then they say yes, and then use their names to go get other people.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. I'm definitely going to take some action on that right there. See if I can do some interviews or, you know, reach out to somebody and do something.
But what's your own, because you're creating your own content for yourself, right?
I am. So I'm creating content for myself and I'm creating content for other clients as well too. So I do video editing for other clients. So I actually have admin rights to their YouTube channel. So I do my own posting. I do posting for other people. So it's all a part of different umbrellas that I have, you know, different streams of income, which is what I strongly believe in, creating multiple opportunities, multiple streams. So I do create content for other people as well.
And your videos on you, what do they talk about?
Most of my videos are on leadership, life and leadership. So the books that I've written are all about leadership. So I was in the military for 24 years. I've taken a lot of that knowledge and experience of leading soldiers over the years, and I wrote a lot of that into my books. So my videos originally started off about leadership and leadership concepts, and I've made a shift here recently to entrepreneurship. So now I'm starting to create videos based off entrepreneurship, ideas on how to make money, how to do different types of things. So I'm making a shift, you know, and I figured it was time to go ahead and pivot towards a different area. And that's what I've been doing here lately.
I think leadership applied to entrepreneurship is interesting. Most entrepreneurs are at the very early stage and they don't have a team. So it's hard for them to, anytime I make a video, we just did one yesterday on hiring, like how Steve Jobs hires and how all these other people hire. It never does as well because most entrepreneurs are solo shop or they're part-time, like wannabe entrepreneurs, and they don't care about it yet. So a lot of the leadership stuff falls short in the entrepreneur circle. But I think where it could really apply, what people really struggle with is the self-leadership.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. So you got to be able to lead yourself first before you can lead others. And the thing is that if you're not leading yourself, others will absolutely see 100% right through that. And if that happens, you will lose trust, you will lose value, you will lose basically the people that you're trying to lead. And that's one of the things that I tried to develop within my junior leaders. So I always tried to give them all the tips, tools, techniques, and resources that I had as their senior leader and said, hey, here's where the rubber meets the road. This is exactly what you need to do. So lead yourself, grow yourself, develop yourself. And that comes in the form of education. That comes in the form of being where your people are. So you set the example by being the example, by knowing the example and doing the example. And whenever you do all that, others will follow. They won't follow just because you tell them, hey, follow me. No, if you're setting the example and doing all the right things, they will follow your example because you set that example. That's leadership and mentorship.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people who start a business who are used to having a job and they're leaving the job and the structure, and they may hate their job and they hate their boss and they hate what they're doing and they know it's beneath them, but then they go in and do their own thing, they struggle with not having the structure of having to show up and having a boss telling them what to do. And now you're in charge of your own life. Even people leave the military, they go back to regular life, and a lot of them fall apart because they don't have the structure. They don't know what to do. They don't have
a lot of friends do that. I've had a lot of friends that do that because they've had somebody right there telling them what to do the entire time. And then when they had to manage themselves, it was like, I don't know what to do. I don't have a schedule. And that's why routines are important as well, too. So when you establish a good routine and then you follow it, you know, of course, you got to tweak it to what it is that you're trying to focus on. Okay. And that's why establishing a routine and having something that you are focused on, not necessarily a big picture, because a big picture is too much to focus on. But if you take one thing at a time and accomplish little things along the way, over time, you will accomplish the bigger picture of what you're trying to accomplish. And I think people get overwhelmed with trying to accomplish the big thing instead of accomplishing the little things and then celebrating those little wins along the way.
I think this is really where you could really win with your content is not so much talking about how to make money online and all this other stuff, because there's lots of people who are doing that and they've done that for decades.
Right.
But you know what you're talking about with leadership, and you've led teams. Now just applying those same principles to helping the entrepreneur lead themselves. There's so much. It's one of the biggest things that I keep getting asked about. Like, what's your morning routine? How do you stay consistent? How do you stay on your goals? How do you not get demotivated or depressed when you're not getting the results? It's like, it's one of the most, that bucket of questions. I'm going to answer my questions tonight from people who left, you know, my question of the day, and half of them are going to be around that kind of theme, that if you make content that can help the individual do self-leadership, and then like advanced level is leading a team, but not so much for YouTube content, because there's not enough people who care about that yet. I think it's a really big market for you, man.
I believe so too. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, so people want to find out your channel and see all these new self-leadership videos going to come out soon. Where are they going?
Absolutely. So my main website is Terry Thompson, terrythompson.me. So I have all of my social media links on my website to include particular products and services, all my books, everything is on my website, terrythompson.me.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping in.
All right, awesome. Thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Thank you for watching. If you learned something from this video and you had a key takeaway or a good strategy that you can implement, please let me know in the comments below. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.